worms. But the second component with that is what we called Oddcine or Oddcam. And so Oddwalk and Oddcam, we were like, we have to separate the controls to a real world standard and not a camera view standard, so that no matter how big or small the character is in the world or how far away your camera is, your controls are completely consistent. The other thing we wanted to do is we said, well, if they want that cinematic directed experience, then we have to. What are we playing with? Well, we're playing with PS5. We're playing with some nice new hardware and some nice performance power on PC and stuff. So, how do we want to? Where are people dedicating a lot of that power? What we saw was a lot of people are dedicating that power sort of into that foreground character. And granted, the backgrounds. Some of these games today are just mind blowing, right? In detail and awesomeness and believability. But we're like, they're dedicating a lot of that into the foreground, getting those sweat pores on the face, and go, well, so that's our 8K texture maps, and that'll be happening. We'll use that. We're using the same, Unity. We rendered all the cinematics and all the gameplay. It's all consistent, same engine, same rendering, same version. And we said, but instead of us getting further into the face during play and spending our budget there for what we can get out of this 2K plus or up to 4K resolution, let's instead use that resolution to have the character get smaller in the world, right? So when we think back, we go, well, if I was on an RTS game, I might have I'm just doing our screen size here, I might have a character on a screen that's that big, right? It's an RTS game, it's okay. But if I were doing a controller-based game, I would never want that character that small on the screen, except when we got to Soulstorm. So it was like, can we have so that the camera is constantly sort of framing for maximum, getting closer, getting more optimal, getting journey, getting epic shots, where that fluidity is happening good. And if we do both of those systems really well, then we should have 2.9D, in the can. I'm oversimplifying, but the camera system and the nav system went together to sort of make a more fluid journey where you're getting that vibe you got from the original Abe's Odyssey, except now you're actually there, you're moving through the world, and we can enrich it in a lot of ways. And that led to a lot of audio challenges. So just imagine that usually your listening position is your camera. Well, when your camera is 100 yards away from your character and you still want to hear every little thing he's doing, right? We were like, how do we solve that? And you'd be like, well, you still need kind of different mics in the world. And it just became a problem that I didn't really foresee, but that you should have. We should have been able to foresee it. But there was like, oh, wait a minute, where is actually our listening positions going to be? And when you see the game, you'll notice at times it's like we just are getting back. We just pull back like Abe might be climbing a ladder. But we just try and pull back. He's so small on screen because we wanted that world to feel so much more overwhelming and intimidating, and to make our character feel more vulnerable, which is kind of, again, I don't know if it's bucking a trend as much as it's just our natural path, but usually, it's like, why am I going to feel strong about your character? I was like, yeah, probably not, because that's not who he is, but that's part of the charm, right? Is how do you get the objective of saving rather than killing, and all that's possible. We like to have fun and be brutal, of course, in a hilarious way. But how do we get to that point where we can have that scale change happening and the user doesn't really notice it? It's just happening naturally. And then, we can sound cue a little differently. We can do things that we weren't able to do in the past because of this format of what we're calling 2.9D and the tools we had to build around it. But I really do look forward to when you get to see it, Ted, because like everything.
Well, you're doing a great job of describing some of the sort of the epiphany moments, I think, in the game, where and some of the challenges that a lot of people don't realize that we're all up against, because we can't predict, right, what is going to break when we try new stuff. And I think your example of the sort of the 2.9D and the audio is great. Like, I don't think there's any way you could have predicted that the sounds that are surrounding a character who's tiny on the screen are going to automatically coincide with where the camera is, right? That's just, we got a lot of stuff going on during development, and you run into those problems.
Yeah, it just didn't occur to us till the audio guys got, what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah.